Ladies, if you've been in an abusive relationship, stay to the end of this video because I have something for you that may help you change your perspective. In 2014, I tried to exit this reality just over a year after losing my mom to cancer. And ever since then, I've been on this massive healing journey, right? And so I've surrounded myself around mentors, putting out my own videos and just connecting with you guys, the viewers, people that, are going through similar things that I've been through. Now, one thing that I've noticed when it comes to women that have been in abusive relationships, whether it's, through personal connections or just watching social media in general, I've noticed that there's two paths a woman can take after exiting an abusive relationship. But one thing that I have noticed is 99.9% of the women that are now standing in their power have an ability that the ones who took a different path, a darker route, sometimes when you exit an abusive relationship, you can look at it and be like, okay, what you're going to take with you is I'm not worthy, this is what I'm deserving of, and you become angry and you just go down this dark path, right? But what all the women that are standing in their power know that these individuals who haven't realized yet is, if that made sense, is that these relationships, these abusive relationships, these women that have gotten through it understand that these individuals were there to help them identify who they are not, what they are worthy of, and what they are not worthy of. And they've looked at the situation and they found the light within the darkness. They're like, okay, yeah, this person put me through shit, but I realized that, I'm worthy of more than that. I'm better than that. And they use it to empower themselves, right? So instead of beating yourself up and buying into what you went through and being like, well, this is what I'm worthy of, now I'm going to be angry and bitter and start using, crutches to drown out my reality and just go down a dark path. You have to be able to, see the silver lining in it and identify what you learned from that situation. One thing that blows my mind is you zoom out and you think about being a soul before you incarnated here. A lot of the people, not all of them, but some of the people in your life that, played a very significant role, even if they hurt you, on the other side, you guys kind of planned out that you needed to learn some lessons to help you, elevate your consciousness. And so sometimes the person that ends up hurting you the most is someone that loves you a lot on the other side and was just willing to play a role that, not many other people wanted to. So you got to keep that in mind. For me personally, when I look at a situation from my past, in 2020, I met my twin flame and, things didn't go my way. And for like 5 years, I was heartbroken, right? And I never looked at it as a wasted, situation because I learned so many things. And then, within the last few months, I found out something about that individual, some things actually that, had me so stressed out that I didn't eat for 3 days, started breaking out in fucking zits, was just in disbelief for a couple weeks, and made me realize, like, I got angry at myself because I was like, man, I was heartbroken over someone for 5 years, and I look at, now knowing who they actually are, I was like, man, that relationship it was doomed before it even began because this individual had turned their back on their higher selves and, had a lot of demonic influence in their life. And, if I was to make a list of all the, qualities that a woman could possess that would disgust me, this individual possessed them all and even created ones I didn't even know I had. And so I got really angry at myself. I was like, man, I wasted 5 years being heartbroken, over someone that I don't even, I wouldn't even give the time of day if I knew who they truly were at the time. But I had to just, calm my nervous system down and be like, you know what? Look at how much growth and expansion came from that relationship, Yeah, there was a shit ton of toxicity and, lies on her part. She had the ability to read energy. So despite having absolutely no intentions of being in a committed relationship, she fed everything that I needed to hear. And ran around having a good time, not caring about anyone's feelings except their own, right? So you have to see the silver lining from any situation. That's how you grow, and that's how you expand, and that's how you step into the most powerful version of you. So look at your traumas, the ones that are still holding you back, back in your past and see, okay, if you're still stuck up on something, ask yourself, is that who you are? Is that really what you're worthy of? Or identify and become a better version of you. That's all I got. Over 62.5 thousand followers on TikTok. Greatly appreciate the support. Would love to see you over at YouTube at Saved by an Angel. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Instagram at AshSam888. That's all I got. Smash that like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.